What's going on, guys? Welcome in. What's going on? Get started here just shortly, just a second or two. Let everyone trickle in. I'm sure some are probably still getting the ping that I just sent out. Just kind of glancing real quick though at the economic calendar. I wanted to see what was kind of in store for tomorrow. Just taking a glance at that, I do see we have Richmond Fed President Tom Barkin speaking tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. We also do have Consumer Confidence Index at 10 a.m. And then also Mary Daly speaks also at 12:30 Eastern as well. So that's going to be some intriguing catalyst for tomorrow. But other than that, Renee, what's going on? Mr. Cash, what's going on? Nike, wow, that actually did slip through my mind. You are not wrong about that. Let me take a peep real quick. I'm gonna get back to it, but let me take a peep. It's still flat. We'll see if it does anything here in a second or two. But I know that we have class kind of coming up here shortly, so uh, kind of just jumping right into everything. I know it was a little bit of a slow start this week. A lot of chop that I think kind of hit maybe some of you today, and this is usually where I say kind of watch for your premium chop. This is kind of one of those days. What's going on, Labo? ¿Qué pasa? Kind of just watching where we ended up closing today. I think today was just a beautiful, healthy drop off. But we're in a peculiar spot right now in which tomorrow to me is going to be quite interesting. Two things that I've been pretty much bragging about, not bragging, but just repeatedly saying about, was that watching the two anchored view ups that I basically had. I was going to go back to it, but I don't think it's going to let me on a 30-minute. But everyone just pretty much repeatedly heard me saying that this yellow line that you see right now, that was an anchored VWAP that I had sitting from COVID lows. And that's what I've been watching to pretty much take out that 384. I've been repeating that level. What's going on, Wayne? I've been repeating, watching for that 384 half, roughly, if you want to say 384.37 to be exact. I was watching to take out that level. That was a level that I was expecting to actually act as a resistance. What did you see? We actually gapped up and we just blew right through it. So that was a beautiful thing to see. The other scenario that I'm actually watching is I do have another anchored view up that's sitting from May 20th lows that we had. You see that we had a strong reversal. That was our prior low that we had. That was pretty meaningful. I actually see that we had that as a resistance here today as well. So we smacked right into roughly that 391 half level. So I feel like we're kind of sandwiched between two anchor VWAPs, between our prior low and then also our anchor VWAP from our COVID low. So I want to see if we end up breaking out of this little sandwich that we're sitting in. Either we're going to end up breaking down below 384 or we're going to break out above 391 half here and we can start talking about 393 and 397 and ultimately, then we're all going to be looking at this massive gap fill that we have. If I highlight it real quick, you can see this massive gap that we have sitting here that everyone's going to be looking at towards 401. So that's actually something that I'm interested to see right now is how do we break out of the sandwich, whether it be north or it be south here. And I'm looking to see if it's going to end up happening here tomorrow or not. All right. But other than that, as you see, we had the nice megaphone action. I've been looking at that megaphone pretty much the past few days here. You see that we broke right over that uptrend resistance, beautiful break, and we had the smooth sailing right over the anchored VWAP. But I also do have a nice little ascending channel action. You see that we're kind of sitting right near the halfway back of this ascending channel. So I'm also going to be watching to see if we defend this, basically this 387 level. I want to see if we can defend that 387. If we defend 387, you're looking for the reversal back to the upside, and then we can start looking if we break north of that prior low anchored VWAP over 391 half. All right. So just monitoring this. If we break down below 387, then ultimately what I'm going to be targeting here is towards the bottom of this ascending channel, which is sitting roughly around 382. So that's what I'll particularly be looking at tomorrow. Again, just in the immediate term, but it's going to be very interesting because a lot of things are going to be swayed here. If we break north or south, you're going to see a lot of different flow coming through. I know that today, and I heard Avery pretty much talking on live. We have basically a lot of, you want to say hedges, but a lot of puts being put on for makes, I think it's July 15th in particular. So we do also have OPEX that particular week. So it kind of makes sense that they're picking that particular week. So a lot of them are coming in right now. Do I feel like that's going to sway the market direction or that we're going to necessarily collapse just because they're putting on all those puts? No, not necessarily, because we've seen that we had multiple times in the past where we've seen a lot of these put hedges basically pretty much put on, but we don't see that kind of result pretty much happen for maybe after all this slow climb up is happening. So we can end up going to continue up to 400 on SPY, and it's likely going to take a day or two, and maybe we end up wiping out the past 4 days that we maybe had of all uptrend. So I wouldn't get scared about that. I still think that we could potentially still continue to climb on what has been just relatively slow volume. All right. And just two other charts that kind of just stood out to me. First one is also Apple. I just wanted to point that out as well. You see another well-defined ascending channel action. This is one is right near support that we're sitting at. So you want to see Apple here defend this 141 tomorrow. If we can defend 141 tomorrow, then you're looking for a reversal. Short-term resistance is basically reclaiming over 143. I think if 143 ends up getting hit and you see a rejection, that's not going to be very well for this ascending channel action. Otherwise, you're looking for a break over 143 tomorrow, and I'm looking for a move up towards the resistance here that's sitting at 146. All right, so that's one that's just in a peculiar spot right now, along with how SPY is looking at, as I just showed you. You're basically right near a trendline support of this ascending channel action, looking to defend that 141 spot. All right, and then the other one that's always on a watch for I think everyone was also Tesla. Tesla's basically I have another little ascending channel action. As you see, we're basically right at a halfway back of Tesla on this 30-minute. As you saw, it's basically just relatively flat to close the day. So what am I looking at? I'm looking to basically defend 728 here. If we can't defend 728, it's going to likely end up being a breakdown, and you're looking for that to accelerate under 716. Otherwise, if we're basically looking for upside here and we're looking for that today's low to basically hold, we're end up looking for a breakout over 740.50 from our prior high of June 22nd, and I'm going to be targeting here 771. It would be my overall target. All right, so that's just particularly the two charts that stand out, along with the way SPY is going to either break north or south. I think Tesla or an Apple are pretty much also due to make a big move in either direction. So that's going to be the part that I think is going to be interesting tomorrow. I am relatively cash here tonight. I want to see how this ends up breaking out tomorrow, and then I'll be there to pretty much take a day trade on this, whether we break north or south. All right. Someone did remind me of Nike. I wonder if Nike actually did anything. Nah, it's still relatively flat. I don't think Nike's gonna do too much. In terms of the chart, let me see the weekly on this. Well, it actually did come back to a nice breakout point that we had back from August of 2020. Basically after that entire COVID drop that we had, what a beautiful break that was. So I would expect it to basically bounce at the spot. It's not looking relatively, I want to say, too healthy for an explosive move. But if I'm looking for what I would say would be my short-term PT on this, I would basically look for this to make a move up towards 114. 114 would relatively be my short-term target. Unless we really see this explode here, I think 114 is likely going to end up being the trade here, as you get a nice little bounce and probably some upgrades here come tomorrow morning. But it looks still relatively flat. I think it's still hard to tell because you also do have a nice little gap fill here below under 109 half, basically 109.61. You're going to enter a gap fill below. So not particularly swayed one direction or the other. I would just play the level by level, 114 to the upside. Otherwise, you're looking for completion of gap fill here at 108, and then you can start to see this trend down towards 105. All right. But other than that, I think that's pretty much what I want to highlight on the earnings that were out today, and then particularly the two charts that stood out to me the most and where the position SPY is currently sitting in. All right. But other than that, I'm gonna relatively keep today's session pretty short. I know that class is about to start in just a few minutes. I know that Sig and Dapper have a lot of information pretty much lined up for you guys, so I'm gonna leave it short and sweet right there. It's a slow start to the week. Let's see if some momentum picks up tomorrow in either direction that be, and then we'll be able to dive more into some particular levels that's gonna be on watch. All right, but I'll conclude there. I'll kind of leave it with that. But appreciate you guys joining. Tune in for Sig and Dapper for the class. But other than that, I'll see you guys on live tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Later.